Beautiful. All right, guys, welcome to Talkin Ball with Scotty and Serge. I'm Scotty, that's Sergio. Thanks for tuning in. Sergio, how are we, man?
I'm good, bud. How are you? How's it going?
I'm pretty good, man. I've had a lot of rain recently, and it is summer, so it is super muggy. I had to move a couch before, and man, I feel like I needed to have another shower. I was so sweaty.
Funny week in LA too. It's been raining all week, but over here it's winterish for LA. So it's been cold and kind of just unusual. I think everyone's really enjoying the rain because we don't get it over here at all.
No, man, I remember going to the States years ago when I was in Cali, and people were just saying, like, it never rains in California.
No,
So
absolutely.
nice. Enjoy it, mate. It doesn't come very often. Guys, on today's pod, we're going to be looking back. It's been just over 1 year since we lost Kobe Bryant and his daughter Gigi in that terrible helicopter crash. Serge and I are both going to tell our favorite Kobe Bryant stories. We're going to talk about the 76ers beating the Lakers. More importantly, LeBron James' push on Embiid, whether it should have been a Tech 1 or a Tech 2. And we're going to spend the end of this pod really talking about the Washington Wizards. What Russell Westbrook's fall from grace. We come up with a trade idea for Bradley Beal, and obviously Bradley Beal's pretty frustrated. But let's get straight into it, Serge. Before we start, I'd like to send our condolences to the family of Sekou Smith. He's a longtime NBA reporter and NBA analyst. And on Tuesday, he lost his battle with COVID-19. He was only 48 years old. He had a wife and 3 kids. Just really sad. So young, Serge.
So young, 48 and not really in that target age where they really say it's on the more dangerous side. So it's kind of a surprising passing. He left by 3 kids behind. It's sad, and the NBA's had a few cases where we've lost people that are big to the league. And Sekou Smith was a very very respected guy. Has been in basketball all of his life.
Yeah, again, it's weird saying this, but make sure you're staying safe out there, guys. Masking up, just looking after each other. We all got to work together to get through this. Moving on, just over a year ago on January 26th, I pretty much woke up to the news that Kobe Bryant, his daughter Gigi, and 4 others, including the pilot, were in a helicopter crash in Calabasas in California. Man, that was a hard day. It's nearly 1 year on. It's been a crazy year for the NBA, dealing with one of the greatest players of all time. Him and his daughter, who are always at the NBA games. It's been a crazy year. I still remember last year when Luka Doncic was playing the Lakers in LA, and he could hear someone talking some smack in Slovenian to him. He turns around and who's there? Good old Kobe Bryant. He loved the young guys coming up in the league, Serge. Loved giving them a
Yeah,
hand.
he was a great ambassador. A good guy at passing the torch and really guiding players. I think he was also a player who was fortunate enough to that the older players, when he came into the league, they noticed that he was a guy who was very passionate, very dedicated to his craft. So he received some guidance as well. So I think he was one who followed that kind of line of being generous with your knowledge and showing. And it showed till like his last days when he was coaching Gigi's team,
Yeah.
a young girls group under 12, I think they were.
Yeah, he's did some great work, and he'll never be forgotten. My favorite Kobe moment, March 7, 2010. Orlando Magic come to play the Lakers, and I love Matt Barnes. He's got a bit of toughness to him, and he's standing back to inbounds the ball, and Kobe's just standing there, just chewing on his gum in his own world, and throws the ball, pretends to throw the ball in Kobe's face. Kobe doesn't flinch an inch, doesn't blink, just keeps staring at him, chewing his gum. And that was me, like, that was Kobe down to a T. Kobe was like in the game. His head didn't go anywhere else for those 48 minutes. And he wasn't scared of anything.
Anything, anyone. I remember
Yeah.
they tried to debunk that video, that footage, there was like an aerial camera that said that it was like at an angle, but then they found another camera that really showed that no, the ball was put in his face and he didn't even
Yeah.
blink.
I've
So the
heard
guy
Matt
was
Barnes. I've heard Matt Barnes talk about it, and he goes, I tried to pretend to throw the ball in his face. And as soon as he didn't flinch, I just thought to myself, all right, I probably shouldn't have done it this guy, because I'm not 100%, but I have a feeling Kobe probably would have gone off later in that game after that happened. He
yeah,
didn't need any extra motivation.
No, he's like one of those Jordan type guys that you don't want to mess with. You don't want to make him upset.
And your Serge, what's your favorite Kobe moment?
Yeah, I mean, there's so many moments. Starting, I remember like watching him play Jordan. I think this was the 96 season. I think Kobe was a rookie, and he already had that swag. And Jordan was in his, that was the season the Bulls went 72-10. That was a great. So that starting from that moment, but the one that really resonates with me was the last game he played at Staples. I watched that whole game, and it was exciting to watch. You know, Kobe was already at the end of his. Everyone knew it was like a farewell season, and he was mucking around at the beginning of the game with Shaq, and Shaq asked him to drop 50, and Kobe kind of laughed, and the guy comes and drops 60, and the way he took over in the fourth quarter was just. It was like he was possessed. The stadium was going nuts. Snoop Dogg was jumping like Jack Nicholson couldn't believe it. The world was, no one could believe what was going on. I mean, this guy could not miss. He was dropping 3-pointers. He was driving. To drop 60 at that age after an Achilles tear, you can't write that kind of ending. It's in Hollywood too.
100%. It's hard. Everyone always tries to rate these guys. I hate rating these guys in the order of who was greatest. Kobe and LeBron. Sorry, Kobe and Jordan. There's just something different about these guys. I love the way LeBron plays. He's always been able to get his teammates involved. But Kobe and Jordan just had this, they just had a different mentality once the game, like the Mamba mentality, as people like to call it, where we're going to win this game. I'm going to win us this game. You're coming with me. You play to my level. Otherwise, I'm going to chew you out. And there's never going to be anyone like Kobe Bryant again. Never again.
No, no, and I think it's kind of it's a breed it's dying. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe
Yeah.
maybe they'll be reborn.
Maybe in the
You never
future.
know.
Maybe
You
in the
never know.
future. Exactly. We'll move on, Serge. The 76ers have continued their great start to the season. They beat the Lakers in Philly a couple of nights ago. Tobias Harris had the game winner. He's been playing really well. But the big story from this game was LeBron's push. So we had Embiid got into the paint, going for a big two-handed dunk. LeBron didn't want to give him the easy dunk, want to make him to earn it from the stripe. And he put both hands into Embiid's chest as he is going up for a dunk, which most people know, like the one thing in basketball you can't do is you can't push someone in the air. Once you're in the air, there's so many variables of what can happen, and it's usually never good. And in this instance, Embiid landed pretty much flat on his back. We know he's had some back issues before. You've watched it a couple of times, Serge, as well. Did you think Tech 1, Tech 2? I'm hearing people saying maybe Embiid, maybe the way he fell made it look worse than it actually was.
Well, I mean, my opinions, it was a hell of a fall. So I don't think he over exaggerated the fall. Like anyone, if you watch the play over and over again, and you can hear the sound because there's that much noise going on in the stadium, you can hear his back smack on the wood, and it just really makes you that pain inside, and especially knowing the injuries he's gone through. He's had back problems. So the thing that bothers me about this play could be a flagrant two, could be in this league. Yeah, LeBron might get a pass because he's not a dirty player, and you don't really see him do anything with malice. So I don't believe, and I think we were talking about it briefly. I don't believe there was any ill intent. But with that said, that's not what the rule says. The rule says is if you commit a dangerous play that puts the player at risk of an injury, that's enough for a flagrant two. So
Yeah.
with that said, it could be a flagrant two. What bothered me the most was that once you see the fall, any player who has any sportsmanship, you see that fall, you go check on the guy and you see that he's okay. Because on purpose or not, you have to care. That's a star player of the league, of your league, of the NBA. So I was really disappointed in not seeing him react with a little bit more class.
Yeah, and LeBron, you're the face of the NBA, and you are. It seems like LeBron's a pretty good guy, and thought usually he'd help him up. They were losing the game. Maybe that makes a difference. But even saying that, it wasn't a particularly chippy game. There wasn't a lot of back talk happening. There weren't a lot of bad fouls. Kind of came out of nowhere, and LeBron just kind of walked away nonchalant, like he hadn't done anything. Yeah, a little bit disappointed in the way he he approached the situation. Like you got to do that. Embiid's about to dunk the ball. You got to send him to the foul line. But yeah, it's a tough one. There was like shades in my brain of Andrew Bynum to JJ Barea in the 2011 playoffs,
Oh,
but
that
no, it
was
wasn't.
bush league.
It
That
wasn't
was
that. It
bush.
wasn't that bad. And you're also way worse. But you're also going from Joel Embiid 7'2" or whatever, and I'm not sure how many kilos, pounds he is. He's a big dude. JJ Barea is 5'10", so he's going to fall. He's going to fall a little bit easier in the air, but at the same time, like, yeah, I don't know. I'm surprised LeBron didn't get maybe suspension for that, or some kind of fine.
Yeah,
Just say,
that's
hey,
that's I thought it was, and also the media. The media just doesn't. They're quick to jump on him for stupid things, but I mean that's something that you're an example. You should, the kids are watching you. That's not a clean play, and it's, if the play, as we said, was a casualty, at least be a man afterwards and go check on a guy how he is. So
100%, 100%. So, we're going to spend a few minutes finishing this pod. Something I didn't think we'd do for a while. We're going to talk about the Wizards. For people listening who aren't Wizard fans, they're the only people who probably know this. But did you know the Wizards didn't play a game for 12 days because of COVID and protocols? I did not have a clue. One day I was looking, just going, they must be doing pretty bad, the Wizards. They keep losing, but I'm surprising I'm not hearing about all this chatter about trades and Russell Westbrook. But they hadn't played a game in 12 days.
Yeah, nuts, and it's something
Who knew?
that apparently keeps happening with these teams. It's just it's going to be an ongoing thing. I don't know how they're going to make up these games, how they're going to meet timelines. It's going to be a tough thing. And the Wizards are a team that needs to be playing together. They're just basically been reassembled. John Wall, their piece for the last 11 years, 10 years. Yeah, he's gone. So I mean, there's a team that needed to build a little bit of camaraderie. So it's unfortunate that they haven't been able to have all the players together on the floor playing at the same time.
Yeah, they've, apart from Beal and let's say Westbrook, they've got a pretty young team. It's not the greatest squad, but at the same time, Russell Westbrook is having one of the most inefficient seasons of all time, I'm pretty sure. He scored 136 points on 136 shots. His shooting splits, I haven't got him here, but they're like, he's in the 20s in 3-point. I think he's in the 30s in field goal, and he's in the 60s in his free throws. That is, for a guy that's been an MVP, should be the leader of this team with Brad Beal, it's been pretty bad. His defense, turnovers, shooting. What's happening, Serge? What's happening with Russell Westbrook?
I think it's just not, he's not used to be losing this much. And it's tough. It's tough for him because he's always, even the year that he had his breakout year after Durant left, the team wasn't as stacked as his teams before, but he was at his peak. So that was his time to shine. And now I think it's been frustrating getting traded, a Harden thing not working out. So he's also, as much as he throws it aside, he's got to be going through a lot. He's got to he's got to be feeling a lot of pressure from the media, from the fans, from everyone, because as much as we all love him for his effort and what he puts in every night after night, the numbers are just they're not there with him the past 3 years. And they seem to be declining, and he just doesn't want to change his game up. So I think he's probably feeling that frustration, and it's really starting to show in his game.
Yeah, it's tough to watch a guy like Russell Westbrook. This happened to a guy like Russell Westbrook because we've kind of known for a while his skill set was predominantly effort, athleticism. And I think most people have been saying this, but you kind of knew that once his career starts, he gets over the hump like halfway with not a lot of high IQ in his game. Everything's done at 110 miles an hour, a lot of turnovers, bad shooting. His game wasn't going to age that well. And I didn't think we're going to see it this early on. And obviously being on a bad team doesn't help. But yeah, it's not looking good for Russell Westbrook. And the main part of this is...
I just really had faith. I really had faith that he was going to adjust his game. I know he's a bit of a hard head, and he had it in the past, even during the Durant years, he was criticized over this. But I thought, aging, a few of years of decline, people getting on you, getting traded. I thought he was going to come, be the second option, reduce your shots, drive more to the hole, which is still, he's still an explosive player. So focus on that instead of putting up so many shots that you shouldn't be putting up.
We were both hoping that, because I'm pretty sure, I think we'll have a chat about this in the next couple of pods, our predictions to see how they're looking. But I think we both had the Wizards either 8th, 7th, 8th, 9th, or 10th or something like that, maybe even higher.
Yeah.
I was hoping that Russell Westbrook was going to have a rejuvenated season. He got away from James Harden. Yeah, but it seems like the Wizards, they're in trouble. Brad Beal, man, he's not happy. The other day, he was asked by a reporter, "Are you unhappy?" And his response was, "Is the sky blue?" So pretty obvious. He's not happy there at the moment. And you have a guy that's really at the peak of his powers. He's probably got a few years still left, but he's in the prime of his career. His scoring exploits, there aren't too many better than him in the league that can shoot, get to the rim at that efficiency. And you got to wonder, there has to be a trade coming soon, Serge. The Wizards can't free fall this bad and hold on to him, can they?
It's tough to say. It's with salary caps and the way the players push their ways out of teams right now. You'd probably guess that he's not going to be there by past mid-season.
And this is the highest point. If he's playing this well, averaging 35 points, you have him playing so well that his value is so high. You can get a lot of pieces for him, maybe some draft picks. There's a lot of talk been saying that the Lakers and the Clippers are looking for a Beal trade. I personally don't know if either of them have enough assets, and I really don't want either of those trades to happen. I think if either of those two teams pick up Beal, that's who the champion is this year.
Yeah, I mean, depending on what happens with Brooklyn, I think if Brooklyn gets Drummond, that's like you can seal that championship. Yeah. But going back to the Lakers, I don't really want the Lakers to get him. Like enough with the Lakers just getting everyone. And this is a guy who lives in LA. I'm like, enough with that.
Enough.
The Clippers, and I think the Lakers could have assets to give for him. Couldn't they? Like they could probably give up Kuzma, that has a lot of value. He's still a young player. I think Kuzma gets a bad rap. I mean, he's like the number 3 option on a team that doesn't really need a number 3 option.
Yeah, I think he's a good player, but you'd have to. I don't know who else to include him. They don't have too many first round picks because I think a lot of them are still going to New Orleans with the Anthony Davis trade. Unless you're getting rid of Kuz,
Horton,
KCP,
probably.
Caruso, Taylor Horton Tucker would have to be in that trade, you'd think.
Yeah. So I mean, you got 3 players. KCP is still a solid player. You have Taylor Horton, or is it Taylor Horton?
Taylor Horton Tucker.
Taylor Horton and Kuzma. That could be interesting,
Yeah, the Clippers as well, man. I don't think they've got enough pieces to send unless you really want Zubats, Beverly, Lou Williams is an expiring contract. They've kind of mortgaged their future. They've given up a lot of their draft picks to get guys as well. Some of these teams. Sorry, Serge.
And in all reality, I mean, the Clippers should just, as we've talked about it a few times, they just need a playmaker on their squad, either a backup point guard or a starting point guard that can share minutes with Beverly but creates more. And that team should be good enough to win. They should find a level of chemistry and make it work because that team's stacked.
Yeah, 100%. See, like I'm saying, I don't think those two teams, arguably the 2 best teams in the Western Conference, if you're not including Utah, who are just on a roll at the moment, I just think there's not enough pieces to entice the Wizards. But I've come up with a trade. I think this works in terms of money and everything. But so this is a trade between the Wizards and the New Orleans Pelicans. The New Orleans Pelicans are struggling as well at the moment. They definitely need to move some pieces. So the Pelicans get Brad Beal and Ish Smith. The Wizards get Lonzo Ball, Jackson Hayes, JJ Redick, Nickeil Walker-Alexander, and 2 first-round picks. Would that be enough for the Wizards? You pretty much have a brand new team.
To be honest with you, I think that's great for the Wizards.
I think Jackson Hayes is a good up-and-coming player. And this year, Nickeil Walker-Alexander or Alexander Walker. Sorry, brother, I keep forgetting how to put your name. Which order your last names go. He's really shown up this year as well in his second year. So
amazing. I mean, we were talking about him a few weeks ago, how it was going to cause problems with Lonzo, and it kind of did.
And also another team that I think could be in the trade market as well, the struggling Miami Heat. they're struggling for different reasons than the Pelicans. The Pelicans just can't seem to mesh this year with the team they have. The Heat just can't seem to keep anyone on the court because of COVID protocols and stuff. Jimmy Butler's barely played. Neither has Dragic. At the moment, they've got Bam Adebayo, who's absolutely killing it, but they can't seem to win games with some of these guys.
I was just down in South Beach about a month ago, and it's very loose down there, the COVID protocol. So no wonder the players are getting sick left, right, and center. I'd like him to go to Miami. I'd love to see him alongside Butler and, in that Miami Heat culture. I think the Miami Heat are getting a bad rap at the moment just because it's circumstantial. I think once they get it together, they could pull it together still. I'm not one of those people like Paul Pierce is talking about the Miami Heat not making the playoffs. I doubt it. I think if they could add a piece like Beal, they're in the running again.
Yeah, and I think they'll honestly be in the running once Jimmy Butler, and if they can get most of their team back. Goran Dragic is such a big player coming off the bench for them. He settles everything. But maybe Miami can throw a trade together with Kendrick Nunn, maybe Tyler Hero, Precious Achua, and still keep a lot of that team. I think Brad Beal would fit.
I tell you what, I'm not giving up Hero for anything.
No? Okay, yeah.
No.
That's a lot of people are saying that.
I think that guy's his ceiling is limitless.
It's got his little snarl after he hits a big three.
Doesn't even have a mustache. Right. He grows like that half mustache. That's how young he is.
The Surge mustache.
Yeah, seriously. I don't think I even had that when I was 19. No, that kid's for real.
Wow, that was a long time talking about the Washington Wizards. We're going to finish up there, Serge. On our next podcast, guys, there's a lot of chat about the All-Star game, whether or not it's going to go ahead. We'll have a chat about that, and we will both come up with who we think should be on the East and the West All-Star teams. We'll also break down all the big games from the weekend. We'll do that it'll be Monday for me, Sunday for you, Serge, but we'll call that our weekend wrap. And hopefully, guys, we'll start banging out some more podcasts a little bit more consistently. We're still working on getting onto Spotify, but our Instagram account is up. We'll be posting stuff on there. Like our Facebook, we'll start posting some questions in there. Remember to subscribe and like our YouTube pages. But apart from that, Serge, I am going to get ready to watch the Mavs-Utah game. Hopefully they don't get pumped again. You got much planned for the rest of the night?
I'm probably going to put that on and just have some pasta and retire.
Done, son. Enjoy. All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in. We'll catch you in the next couple of days. Have a great weekend, guys. Peace.